Well, I wouldn't call it a Cold War mentality. I would call it the mentality of empire or the mentality of a mafia don. That a shop that's not paying its racket money is not following the orders of the mafia don. We're going to punish that shop. We're going to bust it up. In this case, we're going to sanction. We're going to try to isolate a country to make a example of that country to the rest of the world, to say that we we rule the world and we are going to dominate. I think that that's what there's lots of economic reasons. American exporters that have interests in greater exports to Cuba. There are economic reasons or corporate interests in the U.S. that would benefit from lessening of the embargo and all the sanctions. But the U.S. does this because Cuba is not following orders. Cuba has been an example of resistance, particularly socialistic resistance, transformation that many countries in the hemisphere, of course, are very unequal countries, and therefore those types of transformations would be a positive development. And the U.S. is 70 years later, continuing with this sort of brutal response to Cubans' sovereignty and their decision making.
Of course, there is an element of Cold War in this because as a result of the U.S. sanctions, Cuba has had to turn even more to China, to Russia, even Iran for support to simply buy things like oil. And China has provided significant assistance to Cuba. And as the United States thinks of China and Russia as new enemies in a kind of new Cold War, Cuba's association with them makes it more of a Cold War, new Cold War dilemma for improving relations.